Hello, Gaffers, and welcome to the 1% Better podcast. I'm your host, Heather. It's funny because it rhymes. So let's talk day one. Now, day one in eating disorder recovery and day one in a 12-step program are two different things. I am not here to rag on a 12-step program. There's one particular one that's been around for 100 years, and there's a reason for that, and it's because it works. And if you can get your hands on just the 12 steps, Google it or whatever you have to do. Those 12 steps can be applied to eating disorder recovery, and it'll help you immensely with your recovery. When you enter any sort of 12-step program, you get a book, a guide. You don't get that when you enter eating disorder recovery because, from what I understand, doctors say, well, it's broad, it's different to other people in other situations. And yes, that is very, very true. Everybody has their own story and whatever happened, happened. But I'm telling you, if you can get your hands on those 12 steps, game changer. Game changer. Now, besides the difference between a 12-step and an eating disorder recovery, and I'm not taking away from anyone's pain, recovery is recovery. But in life, we do not need certain substances to live. We do need food. So that right there is a game changer because you can't not eat for the rest of your life. It's just not working because that's what you're doing now, probably. Not working out so hot. And to be scared of your medicine, so to speak, medicine being the food, is a whole nother ball game, and we'll get into that on another episode. But the other key difference between a 12-step program and eating disorder recovery is the day one. If you mess up and go back to your vice in any 12-step program, you go back to go. All your time under your belt is out the window. Now, I have been around a lot of people in 12 steps. I've seen the rise and fall. I have seen grown men cry. And it doesn't matter how much time under the belt they've had. Anytime they lose it, it's a mess. And in an instant, all your hard work is out the window. But the thing is, they don't go back, or not a lot that I've seen, the very next day and say, hey, I messed up. If you are like me and many other people in addiction, because that's what we have an addiction, you have this go big or go home mentality. So if I'm going to fuck up my life, oh, watch me Chernobyl my life, because I'm not going down for one stupid thing. I'm just going to make a whole big mess, right? And it takes a lot of people years to walk back through a door and admit that they fell off the wagon, so to speak. And that takes a big person to walk back through the door. If you can do it the very next day, good on you. But I haven't seen it. And for me, in my opinion, it's because of the guilt and the shame. The guilt and shame, I have an abundance of. I have enough guilt and shame for everybody on the planet 1,000 times over. So we don't need people around us to make us feel worse than what we already do when we mess up. And I know this is hard for parents of kids who are going through an eating disorder right now because, yeah, it's ingrained in us. You mess up, you failed, you go back to go. And after a while, for me, in my opinion, if I keep messing up, well, then it gets redundant. Why am I doing this? Clearly, I suck at recovery. I might as well just stay in my own personal hell because, well, I'm sort of succeeding at that, right? So it gets really hard to keep going up to bat, so to speak. I also want to give you this encouragement. I have talked to a lot of doctors, a lot of psychologists, a lot of counselors. I'm a little bit on the crazy side. And I have not, in my personal experience, talked to one doctor that said, yeah, the minute you enter eating disorder recovery, you should be on your way. No, they expect you to crash and burn. No one expects you to hit it out of the ballpark the first time around. They are there waiting and watching to see you fall flat on your face. And not that they want you to, but they're not shocked when it happens because everybody falls. Everybody. I've talked to a lot of people who have gone through eating disorder recovery, come out the other side, and they say it too. Yeah, no one hits it out of the park the first time. It's like having a baby, right? When a baby first starts to crawl, boom, face plant. And then eventually they take a couple steps and then they fall flat on their butt. But you pick the baby up. And that's the key, right? Is to always have a village of people who understand this to pick you up when you fall. Because again, the guilt and shame will keep you down in that ditch for a very long time. And if you don't have a cheer squad around you, I will be it for you. Write to the email at info@1percentbetter.ca. I will answer it. I will help you as much as I can and cheer you on. We all want to see people succeed in this. So have some grace with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Pick yourself back up and just keep swimming as Dory would do. The key, and I can't stress this enough, the key is not to live in the guilt and shame. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. You know, you got to just kind of move past it and go because Slick, your eating disorder voice, will tell you some very good ideas, right? And he's not in control. We don't listen to him. We know our path, and as hard as it is, we keep forging through.